Matthew Stafford has decided to stay with the Rams, so that means there's one other veteran quarterback on the market right now that teams are looking at and everyone's discussing where he's going to land, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Okay, the 41-year-old just came off of a pretty good season, honestly. The first half of it was not that good. His team obviously didn't perform well at all, obviously. But the last 10 games of his season, he put up good numbers. He put up good stats. He looked like he was comfortable in the pocket. Obviously, he can't move like he used to. He's not as versatile and all that stuff, but he's a good pocket quarterback. I would say he's a top 17, 18 quarterback in the league still. He's still quarterback worthy, and if you put the right pieces around him, I think he can bring your team to the playoffs. So with the Rams out of the picture, everyone was saying if Stafford leaves, Aaron to the Rams. Everyone was saying that. That was the big talking point this week around the NFL. But now Stafford has pretty much said he's staying with the Rams. So, and obviously Stafford should have stayed with the Rams in the first place because the Rams are just better than literally any other team in the league. You know, money's something, but Matthew Stafford's already made $360 million. If he's looking for a ring, he needs to stay with the Rams. The Raiders and all those other teams aren't going to give him that. They're just going to give him more money. So, at this point in Matthew Stafford's career, I think the obvious choice is to chase that ring, not chase the bag. You got the bag, buddy. Stay in LA. But that's besides the point. So Stafford's staying in LA. Where's Aaron going to go? Well, now that the Rams are out of the picture, like I said, there are only, let me count, 4 teams that make any type of sense for Aaron Rodgers. And I think, honestly, one of the teams is pretty much out of the picture. I don't think, okay, so here are the teams that I wrote down. Las Vegas Raiders, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Indianapolis Colts, I'm a Colts fan, and the Tennessee Titans. Those are the 4 teams that make sense for Aaron Rodgers because they don't have a quarterback. Their teams are, somewhat good around the edges. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have talent. They're not just all talentless. And most of these teams' quarterbacks, or most of these teams' problems over the last few years has been the quarterback position. So they're all looking to fill that void for at least, the time being. And also, the Giants have been sneaking around. The last place Aaron should go is sideways, just to another dog shit franchise in New York. Don't do that, Aaron. Watch this video, Aaron, and listen to me and what I'm about to say. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but he should not go to the Giants. You should not. That would be the worst move he could possibly make. Okay, they have decent talent, a good defense, all this stuff. That's what the Jets had. The Jets had the decent talent. The Giants have middle league neighbors, so it's better than Garrett Wilson, but it's damn near the same team, just in a different stadium with a shittier whatever. Like, it's just a horrible team. So the Giants, in my opinion, out of the picture. So the Raiders. Why are the Raiders in play? Why could Aaron Rodgers potentially go to the Raiders? Well, they're already sort of on a short-term plan. Pete Carroll's 73, guys. He's not coaching until he's 90. I would assume Pete Carroll's aiming to be there for 3, 4, 5 years. 6 years max at 79. Maybe 7. Doubt it. So we're talking 5, 6 years. And maybe they're not comfortable with this quarterback draft class. I don't know where the Raiders are drafting. It's not 1. And maybe it's top 5. Not sure. Should have looked that up, but I didn't. Anyways, regardless of where they're drafting, this quarterback draft class is not that strong. Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Will Howard, Quinn Ewers. Is Quinn Ewers even going to get drafted? Like, this quarterback draft class is dog shit, okay? It's the worst we've had in a while, in my opinion. I don't think there's anyone worth taking if you're trying to, win soon. And that's what the Raiders are going to do with Pete Carroll, okay? So if Aaron Rodgers were to go there, number one, he knows Tom Brady. I'm assuming he respects Tom Brady. There's not a lot of people Aaron Rodgers respects, okay? So he needs to go somewhere where he's going to respect the coach and people involved in the organization. He went to the Jets. His coach was Robert Saleh, who was like a decent defensive coordinator and an unproven head coach. And, the owner is voted the worst owner in the entire league. But if you went to the Raiders, Tom Brady's heavily involved. He respects Tom Brady, okay? Tom Brady's the greatest of all time. I think Aaron Rodgers would acknowledge that, okay? And then Pete Carroll is a proven head coach, a Super Bowl winner, someone who Aaron Rodgers would respect. So right there, you got the ego, as far as out of the way, you're going to get it, So he has to go somewhere where he's going to respect the situation and also a good situation. So the Raiders have Brock Bowers, a good tight end. They have Max Crosby. I don't know if Max Crosby is going to leave or not. we'll see on that. But either way, they have talent and they have a good coach now. So that's attractive for free agents. So if Aaron Rodgers went there, the Raiders, that's even more attractive for free agents because every single free agent wide receiver wants to play with Aaron Rodgers. Not every single one, but a lot of them do, okay? So I think Las Vegas Raiders, you're in Las Vegas, Aaron Rodgers, ego, all this stuff, like he would love Las Vegas in my opinion, and it would be a decent scenario. If you're just having him for 2 years and you want, some stability at your quarterback position, hopefully to just win a playoff game or two. Like, when's the last time the Raiders won a playoff game? It's been years, guys. Years. Decades. I don't know if it's been decades. It's been a long damn time, okay? They got to the playoffs a few times, but as far as winning a playoff game, it's been a long freaking time. So maybe you could do that with Aaron Rodgers. If you bring him in, bring in some other free agents, and you draft well, I think you could do that, okay? And you're not going to have to pay top dollar for him. You can get him for probably $20 million a year, right? $15 million a year, $20 million a year, $25 million a year. You're not paying him $55 million a year. It's Aaron Rodgers at 41, okay? So you sign him on a 2-year deal. You stack up your roster as much as you can. You play for a year. You push for the playoffs. And then next year, you keep Aaron if he wants to stay around. And you push for the playoffs again. But that, after the first year, you draft a quarterback. Aaron starts one more year. You push for the playoffs again. Aaron retires. Mentors your new quarterback for that 1 year, and then that new quarterback in the next draft class takes over in 3 years from now. I think that would be a good scenario for the Las Vegas Raiders, and I don't think that's far-fetched at all. I think that's a decent plan because you had a good 2-year push with the last decent years of Aaron Rodgers, and then you have the next 3 years of Pete Carroll's coaching career to try and make a decent push or to set yourself up for the future with this brand new quarterback from the rookie draft class, or maybe you try to sign someone younger. That's why I think Sam Darnold makes a lot of sense for the Raiders as well. If they're trying to make like a 6-year push, I think Darnold would be an option there. Okay, so the Las Vegas Raiders are the number one, are the first option I'm going to talk about, not the number one. These are not ranked. I don't know which option's the best, to be honest with you. Number 2 is the Steelers. Now, I don't know how I feel about this, dude. I really don't. Like, Aaron Rodgers teaming up with George Pickens. We saw how it played out with Russell Wilson. I didn't like what I saw all year. They have a fantastic defense. They always will. Good special teams, all that stuff. But Najee Harris, George Pickens, and Aaron Rodgers, I mean, that just doesn't sound good. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers. I'm just not. I feel like the Steelers aren't going to really get over that hump until they move on from Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin's a Class A coach, one of the greatest we've seen in this generation. But that, I think, it's okay to say that's run its course, and Mike Tomlin's still a good coach. I feel like the Mike Tomlin and Steelers relationship has run its course and needs to move on for them to improve. And that's not saying Mike Tomlin's a bad coach. That's just saying that relationship is over. It's done. You had your run. It's over. You obviously aren't getting over the hump. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the guy to get a team like the Steelers over the hump. I really don't think it is, honestly. Unless you got, I'm not a fan of the Steelers. I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers going to the Steelers. Let's just say that. But that is an option because the Steelers, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. George Pickens says he wants to play with Aaron Rodgers. Of course, George Pickens says that. But I'm not a fan of that. Next up is the Indianapolis Colts. Now, everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. I think this is an underrated, massive possibility. I think it damn near will happen. I think I'm pretty confident that there's a 60% chance this will happen. Now, the only reason I say that is because of how ideal the scenario is for Aaron Rodgers. Okay? And the city of Indianapolis. Let me get into this, okay? This makes a lot of sense, and you guys are going to be like, oh my God, Relay, this is like, you are onto something. I know I'm onto something, okay? But let me explain it. Pat McAfee is the face of Indianapolis. He is the face of Indianapolis. Everyone in Indianapolis, everyone in Indiana, I grew up in Indiana, okay? I grew up 2 hours away from Indianapolis. He used to go there every weekend. Everyone looks up to Pat McAfee. At least for the last decade they have, okay? Because he is vibrant, he's positive, he's an entertainer, he's incredible at everything he does, WWE, podcasting, ESPN, college football, you name it. The punter, he's been good at everything. He's been there for Indianapolis. He's donated to so many charities in Indianapolis. He's helped out the city of Indianapolis in so many different ways. He's brought a lot of he's been good for the economy in Indianapolis, okay? Because he's brought so many people in. And he definitely had say in how many WWE events go to Indianapolis, like the Royal Rumble, all this stuff. He's been so good for Indianapolis, and he's the one person. he's not renewing his season tickets because he believes the Colts have given up on, how to play real football, how to coach real football, all this stuff. Like, he believes the locker room's lost, the coach is lost, and they lost him. Like, he gave up on them. And he said that on live television like 2 months ago. Okay? How could you win him back? And I know, like, we're not playing for Pat McAfee here, but come on. Pat McAfee influences a lot of the Indianapolis fan base. Not all of them. I'd say 80% of them like him. 20% of them hate him. Okay? It's either you like him or you hate him. There's no really in between. So you bring in his best friend, or not his best friend, but a very good friend, Aaron freaking Rodgers, who's on the Pat McAfee show every single Tuesday. If he lived in Indianapolis, he could be in person on the Pat McAfee show. It would just be incredibly good for the Pat McAfee show. He would probably renew his season tickets right away and take back all the words he said, because he's going to be like, Aaron's going to be a veteran leadership, going to be competition for Anthony Richardson, all this stuff. And I'm going to get into that, by the way. So I think it'd be good on that part. You win Pat McAfee back. You win part of the fan base back. You're like, okay, Pat, get your season tickets back. Start talking good about the Colts again. Get people to renew their season tickets, all this stuff. So it'd be good for the city in Indianapolis and just bring positive vibes, in my opinion, okay? And part of the Colts fan base is going to say, like, Aaron Rodgers is dog shit. I don't think he's dog shit. He's definitely better than Anthony Richardson right now. But the other point is that Shane Steichen has mentioned that they're going to bring in competition for Anthony Richardson. I don't want them to draft some random white guy in the third round for competition for Anthony Richardson, okay? I don't want them to do that. It has to be a veteran quarterback, whether it's Sam Darnold or it's Aaron Rodgers or it's Jameis Winston. I'm just throwing people out there. I'm not saying these are the best options. I'm not saying these are good options. I'm just saying. So they already mentioned bringing in competition for Anthony Richardson. Bring in Aaron Rodgers for a year or two. Make a push for the playoffs so we got all these players in your prime. In the prime. In 2 years from now, Anthony Richardson's going to be 24. So if Aaron Rodgers plays 2 years for the Colts, mentors Anthony Richardson, and he's 24, the guy who hardly had any playing experience coming into the NFL in his entire life, I think that'd be pretty good. I know we've already done it with Matt Ryan. I know the Colts have already done it with Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers was great for us. He's the second best quarterback we've had in the 2010s. No doubt about it. Matt Ryan was just done for. Aaron Rodgers, his arm has not gone anywhere. He's going to be able to throw 70-yard bombs when he's 55 years old, guys. His arm's not going anywhere. And the Colts have talent. Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman Jr., Latu on the defensive line. There's so much young talent. They still got the offensive line, Quentin Nelson, and it's indoors. And it's in the AFC South, the weak division. It would be the perfect scenario for Aaron Rodgers. This is the best scenario for Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying Shane Steichen's a good coach. I'm not saying Jim Irsay's a good owner. I'm saying the situation, as far as the talent, the field, the competition, Pat McAfee, Indianapolis, it's the best scenario for Aaron Rodgers. So that's option number 3. I think Indianapolis is a good option. Option number 4, Tennessee Titans. Why on God's green earth would Aaron Rodgers choose to go play for the Tennessee Titans, who are pretty much unproven on every single level? Literally, the only possible reason that Aaron Rodgers would want to go to the Tennessee Titans is to live in Nashville. I swear on everything, that's the only reason he would go. So, in my opinion, out of the door. I don't even want to talk about that long. If he goes to Tennessee Titans, he just wants to play football. He's craving that competition. It's the worst option out of these 3 lists. In my opinion, the Colts are the best option. Raiders probably number 2. Steelers number 3. Titans, I don't think it should be an option. So that's where I think Aaron Rodgers should go. I think he should go to the Colts. I'm a Colts fan, obviously. I'm a little biased, but you can't tell me that situation doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know what you think about my opinions on this. And if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.